Millionaire chefs laughed at the dishwasher, but what happened next will leave you HEARTWARMINGLY. In the bustling kitchen of the renowned restaurant, the clanging metal and sizzling pans created a symphony of ambition and dreams. The celebrity chefs, with their tailored jackets and sharp knives, moved with a grace that belied the chaos around them. Laughter echoed, a sound rich with condescension, as they flicked their disdainful gazes towards Manuel, the dishwasher. The poor guy, with his tired eyes and worn-out shoes, stood soaked in the shadows, a stark contrast to the shining stars of culinary mastery. But for Manuel, this was more than a menial job, it was a cradle for his hidden dreams. Just as hope dimmed, a sudden crash ripped through the air. A pot, heavy and steaming, tumbled from a shelf, and in an instant, everything shifted. Time slowed. The laughter turned to gasps. Everyone turned, eyes wide, mouths agape. Manuel, reflexes honed sharp from years of working in the kitchens of São Paulo, leapt forward. With a swift motion, he caught the pot just inches from the floor. A collective cheer erupted, vibrant and alive, shaking the very foundations of that culinary kingdom. In that moment, the millionaire chefs saw more than a dishwasher, they saw a hero. Gasps transformed into astonished applause, and as the sounds rose higher, so did Manuel's spirit. That thrill, the rush of being seen, awakened something deep within him. A flicker of belief ignited. Could he, Manuel, the dishwasher, dream just as big? Could he one day wield a chef's knife instead of a scrub brush? The weight of hope pressed against his chest, and for the first time, tears stung his eyes, but these were tears of joy, of potential. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the applause faded, the tension shifted. The chefs exchanged glances, a shared whisper of respect floating among them. They saw him. They saw Manuel. He belonged, alongside them, in the glow of the kitchen lights. But the question lingered, would they allow him the chance to prove himself? Would they break down the invisible walls of hierarchy that confined them all? Excitement crackled in the air, and every breath felt like it could spark a wildfire of change. Just then, the head chef stepped forward, eyes glistening with intention, ready to speak. The kitchen buzzed with anticipation, every heart pounding with the thrill of what lay ahead, as they awaited the next moment that could change everything. Manuel. The head chef called, his voice cutting through the thick tension like a knife. The room held its breath. All eyes were on Manuel, wide and hopeful, as every heartbeat echoed with a promise. Yes, chef. Manuel's voice trembled, brimming with both fear and excitement. The head chef flashed a confident smile, one that held the weight of 1,000 untold stories. I've seen what you did, and it was no ordinary save. It was instinct, skill, and heart. I believe we could use someone like you in the kitchen. How do you feel about being promoted to an assistant position? The applause erupted again, louder this time, and a wave of joy washed over Manuel, nearly knocking him off his feet. An assistant? It felt surreal. He could hardly wrap his mind around it. The whispers of his dreams swirled into a tangible reality. The other chefs nodded, accepting him into their fold, and for the first time, he didn't feel like an outsider in this world of culinary excellence. Waves of camaraderie washed over him, the kind forged in the heat of competition and the sweat of shared labor. Just remember, it won't be easy. You'll need to show us what you've got. No shortcuts, the head chef continued, crossing his arms but not without a glimmer of support in his eyes. I'll do my best, chef. I won't let you down. Manuel's voice rang out, steady and full of newfound determination. The day began to unfold more quickly than Manuel ever could have imagined. He put on the apron, still a little big for him, but it felt like armor, wrapping him in warmth and promise. The heat of the kitchen was embracing, each sizzle and pop energizing him. He began to learn the ropes, traversing a world that had previously felt far removed from him, the world of culinary artistry. With each chopped onion, each sear of meat, and each delicate sauce he stirred, Manuel began to uncover a rhythm, a song that was uniquely his. The millionaire chefs who once laughed now looked to him for input. They included him in their conversations about flavor profiles and plating techniques. But amidst the newfound familiarity, doubt also lingered in the corners of his mind like a stubborn shadow. Could he keep up with their pace? Would he really fit into their world? Even as joy bloomed in his chest, fear coiled tightly around it. He pushed on, working longer hours, determined to prove he belonged. The kitchen environment was intense, mixing beauty with chaos, but every challenge met was a victory. At one point, Manuel found himself in the middle of a heightened service, every chef shouting orders, every dish calling out for his attention. Attention bundled in his stomach, but he held on to the adrenaline. Then, a moment arrived that struck a different chord. The head chef turned and caught Manuel's eye, nodding approvingly. It was a small gesture, perhaps fleeting, but it ignited a blaze of emotion in him. Maybe I'm not just the dishwasher anymore, he thought. Maybe I really can do this. But then, just as he found his stride, a loud crash interrupted the flow once more. A shelf overloaded with supplies teetered and began to fall. What would happen next? Would Manuel rise to the occasion again, or would this be his downfall? Questions buzzed through the air like flames threatening to consume his brave venture. Manuel's heart raced as he turned to see the shelf crashing down. Time seemed to slow, the sounds of shouting and chaos fading into muffled echoes. Instinct kicked in, his body moved on its own. He dove forward, arms extended, desperately trying to catch the falling supplies. The world around him shifted, pot lids clattering and spices scattering like confetti. Everything seemed to come alive in a whirlwind of action and fear. Just as he reached the shelf, he felt a rush of energy surge through him. It was now or never. Watch out! Someone yelled as the shelf buckled. Manuel felt the weight of not just the shelf but the expectations of every chef who had ever doubted him. Would he fail as they expected? As he braced for the impact, he managed to grasp the edge of the shelf, pulling it just enough to redirect the cascade of ingredients. A whirlwind of flour and canned goods spilled, but Manuel's body shielded the most critical items. He could feel the shock of everyone around him, the sudden stillness that followed as if time had paused, holding its breath alongside him. When the chaos settled, the head chef was at his side. "Are you all right?" His voice had shifted from authority to concern, and for a moment, Manuel saw a mentor, not a commander. "Yeah. I think so," he replied, panting, covered in a dusting of flour and looking more like a baker than an assistant. "Good save, kid." One of the sous chefs called out, and a muffled cheer rippled through the kitchen. Embarrassed yet exhilarated, Manuel took a breath, feeling his heart still thundering against his chest. But then, he sensed it, the weight of the moment. He realized now that he wasn't just fighting to keep his job, he was fighting for his place in this new world, and he was ready to claim it. As the adrenaline faded, he heard the head chef address the team. "All right, let us get back on track. Manuel, that was a brave move. But don't forget, this is just the beginning. There will be harder challenges ahead." Manuel nodded, fully understanding the stakes. He could no longer let doubt siphon his passion. A shift had ignited within him, fusing determination with ambition. With each passing minute, he dove deeper into the rhythm of the kitchen. The fragrances intensified as dishes flew out of the kitchen, vibrant colors painting the plates. He felt like a conductor, guiding a symphony made of chopping, sizzling, and laughter, a beautiful blend of bodies working as one. But amidst the surge of energy, familiar shadows crept back in. The thrill of the kitchen was intoxicating, yet doubt lingered again, whispering that one mistake could shatter this newfound confidence. What if it all unraveled? Determined, he vocalized his anxiety during a brief cooling moment. "Do you guys ever feel like it's too much sometimes?" he asked, glancing at his colleagues. Their laughter echoed, but there was something warmer behind it. "Welcome to the club," one chef said. "If it doesn't scare you, you're not doing it right." In that moment, he felt a surge of gratitude. This chaos was his family now, their struggles, fears, and victories intertwining like the flavors in his sauces. He realized he wasn't alone. But just as the kitchen settled back into a rhythm, he overheard two chefs whispering about a mysterious culinary competition coming up, one that could bring about more changes than he could predict. His heart thumped at the thought. Was he ready for such a test? As he stirred a pot of sauce, blending the flavors just right, the realization hit him like a bolt of lightning. This was more than just a job or a dream, this was about crafting a future. And he was about to dive deeper into the world that had once seemed impossible, but would the competition bring out the best in him or push him over the edge? Manuel stood at the stove, the sizzling sound of the oil merging with the aromas of garlic and herbs embracing him. His hands moved with newfound confidence, each stir and sprinkle a statement. He was ready to embrace whatever this competition demanded of him. Around him, the kitchen buzzed with energy. Chefs darted past, shouting orders, but he felt a strange calm wash over him. It was as if, for the first time, he understood his place in this vibrant chaos. He was no longer just an assistant, he was part of a larger narrative. Yet, his peace shattered when the head chef had all the staff gather for an announcement. The atmosphere shifted, tension building like steam in a pressure cooker. Every chef's face masked a mixture of excitement and fear. "Listen up," the head chef bellowed, his voice cutting through the murmurs. "The competition is in a week. We'll be split into teams. Expect sabotage, intense pressure, and creativity like you've never known. The winning team will earn a spot in a prestigious culinary festival." A murmur rippled through the room, mixed reactions mingling in the air. Some beamed with opportunity, while others were lost in fear. Manuel felt the knot in his stomach tighten. Hadn't they just gotten used to the rhythm? Now, they had to prepare for battle. What if I mess up again? The question hovered in Manuel's mind, settling in the pit of his stomach like a weight. Memories of previous failures flickered through his thoughts like shadows, and he swallowed hard. As teams formed, he was paired with a fiery sous chef named Carla, who had a knack for innovative dishes and a fierce determination that could cut through anything. She clapped him on the shoulder. "You ready to show them what we've got?" Her confidence sparked something in him. "Yeah. Let us do it," he replied, mustering a smile despite the ache of doubt that lingered. The next few days were a whirlwind. They spent hours brainstorming, testing recipes that combined their flavors, a zesty blend of traditional Brazilian cuisine with modern flair. The kitchen felt electric as ideas bounced back and forth, each session more spirited than the last. At one point, during a break, Manuel watched Carla pour her heart into her work, and he marveled at her ease. She was the embodiment of passion. "How do you do it?" he finally asked, his eyes wide with curiosity. She looked at him, eyes shining. "We all stumble. It's about what you do after. Never let your fear define you. Remember, our mistakes are just stepping stones." As she spoke, something shifted in Manuel. He thought of every time he had silenced his own voice, every time doubt had whispered differently. Suddenly, he realized that the upcoming competition wasn't a danger, but a chance to show what he was made of. The day of the competition arrived, and the kitchen felt charged, the intensity palpable. The air was thick with the sense of their dishes, but it was also heavy with expectation. "Ready?" Carla asked, checking the clock. He took a deep breath. "As ready as I'll ever be." As the timer ticked down, Manuel felt a rush of determination sweep through him. He wouldn't let fear bind him. He would embrace it and transform it into his fuel. But just as they began plating their masterpiece, an unforeseen crisis erupted from the corner of the kitchen. A gas line sparked, filling the space with panic. Manuel's heart raced again. Was this to be another test? His instincts screamed for action. His mind flashed back to the shelf collapse, a moment that had changed everything. Would he rise to the occasion again or crumble under pressure? The applause of the competition echoed in his ears, demanding his attention. The moment of truth loomed ahead. What would he choose? Manuel's heart thundered against his ribs, the sound nearly drowning out the chaos that unfolded around him. Flames licked at the edge of the stove, shadows flickering wildly. Chefs screamed, dashing for fire extinguishers, and amid the growing confusion, he felt paralyzed for a moment. Then he heard Carla's voice, steady amid the clang and clatter. "Manuel. Focus. We have to secure our station." He blinked, drawing a deep breath to clear his racing thoughts. "Right," he replied, moving instinctively toward the electrical panel at the back of the kitchen. His mind raced with possibilities. This was more than a competition now, it was a test of their resolve. As he sprinted, Carla grabbed stainless steel pans, signaling to other chefs to stay away from their station. They would need to clear their space and keep the line open for water. The gas was still alive, and they couldn't take any chances. Manuel flipped a switch, activating the emergency shut-off. The flame flickered but didn't disappear. Fear gripped him again. The risk was real. What if it exploded? In that moment of doubt, he recalled wild nights in his grandmother's kitchen, where the warmth of family surrounded him, and laughter echoed through the air. She would have never let fear linger. "Courage, my boy," she'd say. "It's in the kitchen where you learn the most." A renewed sense of purpose surged through him. He called out to Carla. "We need water. The fire extinguisher is not enough." She nodded, her eyes meeting his with a mix of trust and urgency. "Heads up. You're my right hand." With that, she dashed toward the sink, filling a large pot. As she reached him, Manuel couldn't help but admire her confident stance. Together, they poured the pot over the flame. Steam clouded the air, swirling around them like a shroud. The fire hissed, sputtering out at last, leaving only a cloud of steam and the acrid smell of burnt gas. The frenzy in the kitchen began to settle, and an electric tension lingered in the air. They had averted disaster. He turned to find the other chefs staring at them, a mix of admiration and disbelief in their eyes. "Good job. You two were amazing," one of them shouted, relief flooding their voice. Manuel smiled at Carla, their eyes locking in shared victory. But just as he felt a wave of triumph crash over him, doubt snaked back in. What would the judges think of their dish now? Would that incident overshadow everything they'd worked for? "Hey," Carla said, catching the uneasy flicker in his eyes. "Remember, we did what we had to do. We have a shot, Manuel. Let us not waste it." With a quick nod, he let her words wash over him like a rush of fresh air. They returned to the table where their masterpiece sat, chaotic yet beautiful amidst the steam and mischief. "Ready to finish it?" "We're not done yet," Carla urged, her tenacity fueling his own. Manuel quickly gathered himself. "Yeah. Let us do this." His voice echoed determination, mixing with the sense of spices and flavors wafting upward. Together, they plated their dish, each movement synchronized, a dance perfected over days of practice. But just as they placed their final garnish, the head judge entered the kitchen, a penetrating gaze sweeping the room. "Who is responsible for this dish?" His voice was both commanding and curious. A hush fell, and the weight of the moment pressed heavily on Manuel's shoulders. Would he step forward to represent them, or would self-doubt keep him silent? The spotlight had shifted, and this was the moment of reckoning. "Will you step up?" He could hear Carla's voice echo in his mind, but could he? The kitchen held its breath, and so did he. Manuel swallowed hard. The silence in the kitchen felt like a heavy blanket, suffocating yet exhilarating. He could feel the eyes of his peers, the judges, and even the cameras trained on him, waiting. In that moment, his mind went blank, a chaos of thoughts swirling like the steam from the stove. A deep breath transformed into a shaky exhale as memories raced through his mind, the smell of his grandmother's feijoada simmering on a Sunday, the way she hummed songs while chopping onions, mixing love into every ingredient. Courage, my boy, he whispered to himself, channeling her spirit. I did it for you, he thought, as he took a step forward. Suddenly, the floor felt solid beneath his feet. He straightened his back, shoulders firming, letting the warmth of determination seep in. I am, he began, his voice shaky but resolute, we are responsible for this dish. Gasps erupted around him. Carla's eyes widened in surprise and pride, a flicker of relief lighting her features. The head judge tilted his head, curiosity sparking. Both of you? He asked, an edge of interest in his tone. Yes, Carla chimed in, stepping closer. We work together. Every step was a dance, balancing flavors, infusing heart. But there was chaos, the judge countered, gesturing toward the remnants of their earlier predicament. A fire nearly jeopardized your chances. Manuel felt the cold sweat on his skin reappear. Would they see this as a failure? True, he said, steadying his breath. But sometimes, chaos brings clarity. It's in the fire where we found our strength. Our dish embodies resilience, a mix of flavors reflecting the heart of our culture. He could see moments of contemplation flashing across the judges' faces as his words echoed in the kitchen. That passion, that electric connection, was tangible. Just then, the youngest judge, a woman with an infectious smile, leaned forward. I appreciate that. Tell us what inspired the flavors. What story does your dish tell? As he spoke about the spices that danced between sweet and savory, Manuel felt the weight on his shoulders lift. He described the influence of his grandmother's cooking, how each layer mirrored lessons of love, loss, and courage. The kitchen around him faded, leaving just him and his truth beneath the bright lights. When he finished, there was a moment of stillness again. The head judge nodded, a glimmer of respect marbling his expression. Very well. Let us taste this courage you speak of. With gentle movements, they served their dish to the judges, time suspended as they took the first spoonfuls. Manuel's chest tightened, hope flickering like the embers from before. Soon, whispers danced along the rows of chefs. He saw admiration in Carla's gaze, a comforting reminder that they were in this together. Well, it's about time, someone muttered within the crowd. Manuel's ears perked up, their camaraderie palpable, a chorus of uplifting murmurs rising from their peers. But another thought gnawed at him. Would this be enough? He focused on the judges, attentive expressions gradually transforming from skepticism to surprise. Then, one judge, with a twinkle in his eye, leaned back, smiling. This, my friends, is a true representation of what we seek, a dish steeped in stories and the fires of growth. A wave of relief washed over Manuel. Cheers erupted around the kitchen. He exchanged a triumphant glance with Carla, joy bubbling up inside him like a boiling pot. Yet as Manuel basked in this moment of connection, a sudden announcement from the judges silenced the room. We have a decision to make that will change the course of this competition. His heart dropped. What did they mean? In that heartbeat, uncertainty settled back. The kitchen was alive again, this time with hope hanging delicately in the air. What would the judges decide? Would their courage be enough to forge a new path in the competition? Atenção pereva no ar Manuel trocava olhares com Carla, a incerteza se misturando a adrenalina. As palmas dos juízes se uniram aplauso, mas foi logo interrompido pela voz firme do juiz principal, que se levanta com semblante grave. Após cuidadosa consideração, chegamos a uma decisão que pode ser surpreendente para alguns e algo ao redor, avaliando a reação da sala. Os outros juízes o acompanhavam, com expressos que mudavam de serum neutras para claramente orgulhosos. Manuel sentiu seu coração acelerar, cada batida ecoando mais alto seus ouvidos. Uma onda de calor subia pela sua espinha. Estamos encantados com o que vocês apresentaram. Uma usadia, uma corrigem que muitos neo traem mostrado, o juiz continua. Portanto, é com grande prazer que informemos que vocês estão avançando na competição. Grito escapulio dos labios de Carla, e Manuel neo pode evitar exhibir sorriso largo. O entusiasmo ao seu retrocresso, seu espírito e como samba animado nas noites vibrantes do Brasil. Os outros chefs parabenizavam nas, e o aplauso tornava esse coro de apoio. Era momento único, essência do que significava estar em equipe, de buscar o talento e o calor cultivo, mas enquanto a celebração comunicava, Manuel percebeu algo em suas próprias palavras que ainda ressoava em sua mente. O que isso realmente significava para ele? Para Carla? A vitória era certa, mas a luta pela aceitação, pelo reconhecimento de habilidade de ambos, ainda estava no ar. Você pensou que estaríamos aqui. Carla o puxo para abraço apertado, sua alegria quase contagiante. Manuel, nos conseguimos. Mas em meio a toda a comemoração, Manuel não pôde ignorar sentimento que borbulhava sob a superfície. A grandeza desta vitória, ainda poderia vir com a dor de deixar aqueles que ele amava para trás. Ele se lembrava de sua avó, dos pratos que ela cozinhava para a família e do jeito que a cozinha era porto seguro de amor. A competição era sonho, mas sua essência as raízes que o mantinham ancorado estavam com sua família. Vamos, precisamos celebrar! Exclamou Carla, puxando-o para o centro da multidão. Uma nova energia pulsava na sala, conforme a música começava a tocar, os dançarinos saltavam e giravam, mas Manuel ainda estava preso em seus pensamentos. Como ele poderia equilibrar essa nova jornada com o que deixava para trás, ele viu outros competidores dançando, radiantes como se o mundo estivesse a seus pés. Mergulhar em futuro brilhante era enlouquecer, mas o passado não deveria ser esquecido. Manuel, vem aqui. O chamado de Carla outro de volta à realidade. Com esforço, ele se junto a ela, mas a dúvida continuava a sinalizar no fundo de sua mente de o rebolar no ritmo, uma ideia surgiu, e essa avó dele fosse inspiração para o próximo prato, reforçando a conexão entre passado e futuro. Ele algo em volta. A cozinha do competição, vibrante e colorida, poderia ser seu palco para compartilhar a arranca que nunca deveria ser escondida, enquanto os sorrisos e risadas preenchiam a sala e o seu redor, e ele decidiu que não ia guardar essa chama apenas para si. Você sabe, Carla, a próxima receita eu quero que seja uma homenagem. Para minha avó ela sorriu, entendimento imediato brilhando em seu rosto. Isso vai ser maravilhoso. A música ecoava e Manuel se viu caio de esperança, sua mente começando a traçar novos planos e sabores. Ele sabia que seu caminho era longo, e a batalha entre sonhos e obrigações ainda o esperava, mas agora, com novo propósito pulsando em suas veias, ele se sentia mais forte. E enquanto ele dançava, a pergunta parava, será que o amor que há nas pessoas poderia realmente brilhar ainda mais intensamente na competição? Manuel se deixou levar pelo ritmo envolvente, mas a ideia de tributar sua avó o fazia vibrar mais intensamente. Com cada passo, ele vislumbrava não apenas os sabores, mas a história por trás de cada ingrediente, cada prato que ela sempre prepara com tanto carinho. O cairo do tempero dela ainda estava fresco em sua memória, e a ideia de reviver isso o impulsiona. Vamos, Carla. Precisamos começar a pensar no prato agora, disse ele, se afastando palco de dança. A energia eletrizante do lugar neo diminuía, mas seu coração pulsava com uma nova urgência. Tem receio. O que você tem em mente? Pergunta Carla, seu entusiasmo logo se transformando em curiosidade. A equipe que tinham se tornado nas últimas semanas agora estava mais firme do que nunca. Algo que traga o sabor do feijão tropeiro, mas com toque moderno. Podemos fazer uma combinação de texturas como as farofas e molho que temo avisa dos pizzas que ela amava preparar Manuel comico a listar os ingredientes, as palavras sendo de sua boca uma rápida sucesso, a paiseo incendiando suas ideias, conforme conversavam, e ele percebeu a presença dos outros competidores a o redor. Muitos olhares de admiração se voltaram para eles. Manuel sentiu misto de nervosismo e excitação. A pressão aumentava, mas também a força que sentia ao reverber suas raízes, aquelas que moldaram neo seu amor pela culinária, mas quem ele era, Carla parecia sentir a energia crescendo dentro dele. Vamos lá. Precisamos apresentar algo que atinja o coração dos jurados, ela disse, batendo a mão na mesa ao lado. Msua vos, Manuel pode vir eco de determinação que o guiava. Era mais do que vencer, era sobre história, legado e conexo, como a música ainda pulsando ao fundo, eles se afastaram do grupo e buscaram espaço mais silencioso. Neo pod perder tempo, a competico exigia concentração e foco. Qual será sua estratégia? Pergunta Carla, enquanto pegavam papel e caneta improvisada para anotar ideias. Vou falar pouco sobre minha avó durante a apresentação. Quero que todos sintam o que eu sinto, que conhecam a essência do que está trazendo, Manuel respondeu, sua expresso firme. O ato de compartilhar sua história parecia tão vital quanto a própria comida. Ele sabia que o amor e a sinceridade sempre conquistaram os corações das pessoas, e desta vez neo seria diferente, Carla assentiu, inspirada. E se você também concentra os sabores nas cores. Prato que seja tão bonito quanto saboroso, algo que faça as pessoas pararem e olharem. A ideia acende uma chama Manuel. Eles poderiam criar algo que fosse uma obra de arte além de ser prato. Ele sorriu, imaginando a apresentação final, como o espírito de sua avó guiando cada movimento, mas enquanto o entusiasmo crescia, uma sombra passou por seu coração. A pressão de deixar sua avó orgulhosa era imensa. E se neo conseguissem. Ele sabia que a competição era acirrada, e neo podia ignorar a dúvida que o assombrava. Manuel, você está bem? O olhar preocupado de Carla o puxo de suas preocupações. Você está pensando demais. Vamos colocar tudo esse amor na comida, e tudo dará certo. Ele respirou fundo, absorvendo a energia dela. Sim, você está certa. Vamos fazer isso, nós vamos fazer isso. O tempo estava passando. Com cada ideia que brotava, Manuel começou a sentir que, independentemente do resultado, aquilo era mais do que uma competição. Era tributo a sua família, uma forma de honrar suas raízes e transformar tudo em algo belo, mas ainda havia mistério a se desvendar. Será que o amor que as pessoas era realmente capaz de brilhar mais que qualquer prato à base de disputa? A resposta estava mais próxima do que ele imaginava. Manuel e Carla sentaram-se à mesa, o papel em branco diante deles parecia campo de possibilidades. O ambiente ao redor, embora barulhento e caio de energia, se tornava vazio compreensão a encerrada de emoções dentro de Manuel. A cada segundo que passava, ele sentia consigo o peso de expectativa. Ele tinha sonho, amor inegável por sua avu e por sua culinária, mas a insegurança se apresenta como fantasma nessa jornada. Vamos começar com os ingredientes, sugeriu Carla, já escrevendo algumas opções. Podemos usar feijão, é claro. E talvez adicionar queijo coalho. Assim teremos pouco de textura que você está pensando. Manuel sorriu com a ideia. O queijo coalho, com seu sabor forte e uma crocância irresistível, fazia parte dos refeitos especiais de sua avó, especialmente nos fins de semana. Sim. E a farofa fardoche, teremos contraste incrível com o molho de piques que eu quero fazer, respondo ele, já imaginando a mistura de sabores, conforme desenhavam cada ingrediente, a conversa se tornou fluxo continuo, onde risadas e ideas surgiam. A cada riso, apreciou foise dissipando pouco mais. A competico, que antes parecia esmagadora, ganhou novo significado, era sobre redescobrir suas raízes e criar algo que homenageie o legado que sua avó deixara. A apresentação precisa ser impactante, diz Carla, piscando algo e indicando que tinha uma ideia brilhante. E fizermos pequenos montanhos de farofa volta do prato e, no centro, feijão recheado, coberto com o molho. Podemos finalizar com toque de coentro fresco. Manuel aplaudiu a ideia enquanto brilho de determinação acendo sus olhos. Eles estavam criando algo mais do que apenas comida. Estavam criando uma história. Era como se cada camada do prato contasse capítulo da vida de sua avó, das suas memórias mais queridas, porém, uma nova onda de ansiedade o atingiu. E eles não entenderam. E a história não resor com os gerados. E ele sentia o coração apertar. Era risco fazer sua história tão central na apresentação, Carla, percebendo seu desânimo, inclinou-se para mais perto. Manuel, o que importa aqui é a autenticidade. Não se preocupe se eles não entenderam de imediato. O mais importante é como você fala sobre isso. Conecte-se com eles. O amor vai brilhar mais do que qualquer técnica, ela diz, com uma confiança que aqueceu seu coração, ela estava certa. O que fazia a comida de sua avó tão especial não eram apenas os ingredientes, mas a história por trás de cada prato. Ele respirou fundo, sentiu a energia revigorante da ideia se solidificando. O prato começava a tomar forma sua mente, e ao mesmo tempo, a forma como ele se sentia para apresentá-lo mudava. Era sua chance de compartilhar sua história, de transformar cada garfada pedaço de sua alma e de sua avó da música ao fundo continuava, e o clima do lugar se tornava cada vez mais vibrante. Mas a adrenalina pulsava dentro dele, não somente pelo desafio que estava por vir, mas porque ele sabia que estava se aproximando de algo extraordinário. Então é isso. Vamos fazer isso. Vamos fazer o prato de vovô brilhar. Exclamou Manuel, os olhos prontos para a batalha, mas enquanto ele absorvia a união da ideia e emoco, uma das competidoras mais ferozes, Lucia, se aproximou e lançou sorriso desafiador. Vocês também acham que podem surpreender com suas historinhas? Sua voz era mordaz, e as palavras dela escorregaram como veneno, Manuel congela. O desafio estava lancado, e a sombra de dúvida voltou a assombrá-lo. Será que conseguiria? A pergunta ecoava sua mente, e ele trocou olhar significativo com Carla. Estava claro, o caminho não seria fácil. Preparar a comida era apenas uma parte. A batalha real seria a luta contra suas inseguranças e o desejo de honrar suas raízes. So precisamos ser verdadeiros, diz ela, segurando sua mal como se dissipas os medos. E ali, naquela pequena conversa dissipadora de incertezas, ele sentiu que não estava sozinho. Como último olhar. Para Lucia, Manuel sabia que daria seu melhor. Mas a pergunta ainda persistia, subiria ao palco e arriscaria tudo por amor a sua avó, ou seria derrubado pela dúvida. O destino estava prestes a ser decidido. A platea estava silencio. O coração de Manuel baixa como tambor uma festa de São João, o ritmo aumentando a cada segundo. Ele olhou para Carla. Seus olhos eram misto de abraço e coragem. Eles estavam juntos nessa. Eles chegaram aqui, nada poderia apagar esse fogo que os unia. Pronto. Carla sussurrou, com sorriso encorajador. Pronto. Manuel respirou fundo. As palavras de sua avó ecoaram na sua mente, courage, meu filho. Ele sentiu calor crescer dentro dele, uma chama que não poderia ser abafada da mesa do jurado estava à frente, seus olhos aguardando ansiosos. Manuel deu passo à frente, a voz vibrante, carregada de emoção. Hoje, trago a vocês prato que homenageia minha avó. Uma conexão entre passado e presente, tributo às raízes que moldaram nossa cultura. Ele descreveu o feijão tropeiro, a farofa doce, o molho delicado de piques cada palavra era uma peca de sua história. Lembro-se do riso dela na cozinha, o calor dos brecos que o envolviam enquanto ele aprendia a cozinhar. Ele falava do amor, de trabalho, e de coragem tudo isso infundado msu prato. Esta é a essência de nossa comida. Não é apenas sobre os ingredientes, mas sobre quem somos, quem nos formou. Sua voz ressoava na cozinha como uma melodia que ecoava pelo coração de todos, quando o prato foi apresentado, viu os jurados se inclinaram, curiosos, intrigados. Ele olhou para Carla, o sorriso dela refletindo seu orgulho e a crenca que ambos haviam construído juntos da textura de farofa brilhava, o molho reluzente parecia prometer cada sabor que ele queria transmitir. Ele baitu sua avó. Ela teria se orgulhado de momento que parecia uma eternidade, o primeiro juiz pegou a colher e provou. Todos os olhos estavam fixos nele. A tensão era palpável, fio tenue que poderia se romper a qualquer instante. A expresso do juiz mudou, ele olhou para os outros, pequenos sorrisos começando a brilhar entre eles. Este é prato que fala. Conta uma história. Murmurinho cortou a sala, e Manuel sorriu, aplaudido pelas palavras. Sinto a conexão que você traz, Manuel, o amor transborda des prato. Sentimento de alívio profundo o envolveu. Naquele instante, tudo ficou claro. O que estava jogo nunca foi apenas uma competição. Era a própria vida, uma demonstração do que realmente significa ser parte de algo maior. O juiz principal levantou-se, convocando a atenção de todos. Hoje não julgamos apenas os pratos, mas as emoções e as histórias que eles contam. Cada palavra era como uma onda que suavemente levava a dúvida que ainda pairava sua mente. Estamos aqui para reconhecer não apenas quem é talentoso, mas quem transmite a essência de suas experiências. Ele voltou-se para Manuel e Carla. Foi uma apresentação magnífica. Os aplausos concorreram a crescendo intensidade. Os sentimentos explodarão como fogos de artificio coloridos. Manuel se sentiu com todos a seu redor. Ele não era mais apenas o lavador de pratos. Ele era contador de histórias, mensageiro de amor através de comida dada meio a comer e alegria ao seu redor, ele percebeu que tinha encontrado seu caminho. Ela havia trazido sentido novo a sua vida, havia alejado seu amor a culinária com a profunda conexão de sua arranca dada competição ainda estava longe de terminar, mas ele já havia vencido a mais importante das batalhas, a luta contra a dúvida, a superação de suas inseguranças. Ele se entregou ao calor do momento e balancou de lado para o outro com Carla, cantando e dançando, abracando a paiseo pela culinária que o unia a todos e nessa celebração caia de emoções, Manuel percebeu que o verdadeiro sabor da vida era aquele que vinha de união, do amor, e do reconhecimento de que, por trás de cada prato, existe uma história esperando para ser contada, naquela noite, enquanto as estrelas brilhavam sobre a cidade, ele soube que não estava apenas perseguindo sonho, ele estava criando legado lembrete de que, às vezes, a coragem se escondem. Pratos simples, servido com amor e agora, querido amigo, a sua vez de saborear esta jornada que acabamos de compartilhar. Neo espir mais. Se você se emociona com a transformação de Manuel, você precisa se inscrever agora mesmo no canal para não perder as próximas histórias exclusivas. Deixo seu like para alimentar o algoritmo e espalhar esta mensagem de esperança. Comente suas ricos e o que você sentiu com o final. E, por favor, compartilhe este vídeo imediatamente com 5 amigos que precisam ver essa transformação. Você é uma parte vital desta comunidade. Vamos crescer juntos.